ARM Holdings to cancel Qualcomm chip design license, source said. October 22th, Reuters. Chip from ARM is canceling an architectural license agreement that allows Qualcomm to use its intellectual property to design chips. A person familiar with the matter said, amid an ongoing legal battle between the two companies. The Qualcomm closed down about 4% in Wednesday, while the ARM Holdings was down about 6.6%. ARM has given Qualcomm a mandated 60 days notice of cancellation of a license that allows Qualcomm to design its own chips based on ARM computing architecture, said a person who requested anonymity. The Bloomberg News was the first to report the development. The UK-based ARM, which is majority owned by Japan's SoftBank Group, sued Qualcomm in 2022 for failing to negotiate a new license after it acquires Nvidia. ARM has previously said the design the Qualcomm was planning for Microsoft Copilot Plus laptops was a direct technical descendant of Nvidia's chip, and it had cancelled the license for these chips. This is more than the same from the ARM. More unfounded threat to design to strong ARM and longtime partner interfere with our performance-leading CPUs and increasing the royalty rate, the legalness of the broad rights under our architecture license, a Qualcomm spokesman said in an emailed statement. With the trial fast approaching, in December, ARM's desperate ploy appeared to be an attempt to disrupt the legal process, and its claim for termination is completely baseless. We are confident that Qualcomm's rights under its agreement with the ARM will be affirmed. ARM's anti-competitive conduct will not be tolerated. The legal battle between the two tech giants is scheduled to begin with the federal court in Delaware in December. So, in an ARM victory at the litigation could force Qualcomm and its roughly 20 partners, including Microsoft, to halt shipments of the new laptops. It would also essentially unwind one of the Qualcomm's biggest strategic acquisitions in recent years. Following Qualcomm's repeated material breaches of the ARM's license agreement, ARM is left with no choice but to take a formal action requiring Qualcomm to remedy its breach or face termination of the agreement. ARM said in an emailed statement. ARM is fully prepared for the trial in December and remains confident that the court will find in ARM's favor. Despite the public fight between two companies that rely on each other for revenue and profit, some investors and analysts believe they will reach a settlement well ahead of the trial. After 60 days, the cancellation warning were to enforce, Qualcomm could, in theory, be severely limited in terms of what it could sell. Given the importance of the ARM architecture to each chipset, and ARM would lose a chunky royalty income, said Ross Mood, investment director AJ Bell. The technology roundup news fringe of indeed. Okay. Reported about statement. Okay. Yes. Alright. This paper, the ARM Holdings to cancel Qualcomm chip design license, source says. Thank you for your time. See you next time.
Nvidia to supply chips to Reliance, other Indian companies in AI push. The summary is Juan Ambani discussed India's AI ambitions. Reliance will use Nvidia's chips in the Gujarat data centers. The Nvidia expands ties with the Infosys Wipro TCS. Boom by October 24, the Reuters. Nvidia will supply artificial intelligence processors to Indian companies such as Mukesh Ambani's Reliance Industry. The chip giant said on Thursday it deepens the partnership to exploit a growing market. The U.S. company will supply its Blackwell AI processor for a giant 1 giga data center Reliance is building in the west of Gujarat. Chief Executive Jensen Huang and Ambani told an AI summit in the business capital of Mumbai. The Nvidia said it also plans to supply tens of thousands of its Hopper AI chips to build large-scale data centers in an expansion led by firms such as data centers provider Utah Data Service and Tata Communications. In the future, India is going to be the country that will export AI. Huang said that by contrast with its role in software export, you have the fundamental ingredient AI data and AI infrastructure, and you have a large population of users. From large companies to startup, businesses in India have focused on building AI models based on each array of language to grow consumers' appeal and drive activities such as customer service, AI assistance, and content translation. With more than 4.4 billion people and low-cost internet access, the South Asian nation is also a key growth market for U.S. technology giants. Nvidia said Indian IT services firm Tech Mahindra is the first to use its new Hindi language AI model to develop a custom AI model called Indus 2.0, focused on the language widely spoken nationwide and a dozen of dialects. Besides Tech Mahindra, Nvidia is partnering with IT giants such as Infosys, TCS, and Wipro to train about half of a million developers to design and deploy an AI agent using its software. Reliance and Ola Electric were among the companies set to use Nvidia's Omniverse simulation technology to test factory plans in a virtual world. India's AI ambitions. Huang talked up India's AI prospect at the Nvidia event that manager said was delayed by a large crowd which flocked to catch a glimpse of the live glad both of the $3 trillion chip firm. India is already world class in designing chips. India already develops AI, Huang said. Instead of being an outsourcer and back offline, India will become an exporter of AI. The Hindi language AI model launched on Thursday builds on Huang's view that every country needs to produce AI using its own infrastructure, data, and the workforce to ensure it is inclusive. After first setting up the shop nearly 2 decades ago, Nvidia has engineering and design centers in India, as well as offices to key sites such as the Tech Hub for Bengaluru and neighboring Hyderabad. In September last year, Reliance and Nvidia vowed to develop AI supercomputers in India and build large language models trained on each languages. Later that year, Nvidia unveiled a similar partnership with the Tata Group. India's ambitions in AI, including the government investment of $1.25 billion to fund startups, projects, and development of LLMs, have not been without hurdles, however. Each chip-making industry is still nascent, and the capital-intensive effort to set up fabs or fabrication facilities typically takes years, and running one requires specially trained professionals. India has yet to produce its first chip. While global chip firms are investing and setting up the facilities in India as it races to build up the semiconductor industry and compete with major hubs such as Taiwan, analysts see a long road ahead. Today, India as a part of Nvidia's revenue is small, Huang said, but our hopes are large. Okay, today I read this article, Nvidia to supply chips to Reliance, other Indian companies in AI push.
So Nvidia to win the race to 4 trillion market cap, experts say. By the dip. That was the mindset around the chip stocks last week as investors scooped up beaten down shares, sending Nvidia to a record high. A strong outlook for Taiwan Semiconductor TSMC was enough to revive Wall Street's enthusiasm for artificial intelligence as growing confidence in the AI boom overshadowed chip supplier ASML's sluggish forecast and reports of export caps of the advanced AI chips to some Middle Eastern countries. Nvidia closed the week above $138 per share, bringing its market values to a $3.39 trillion. The stock was trading a touch higher, up 0.2% in Monday's pre-market trading. It's now the world's second largest company behind Apple, but that might not be for long. Experts I spoke with this past week say there is growing confidence the chip giant will be the first big tech firm to reach a 4 trillion evaluation. So there's no question about it. Ram Ahluwalia, Lumida Wealth Management CEO, told me the Yahoo Finance catalyst developed the demand for a GPU chip is strong, and you're seeing early adopters starting to get some ROI. The Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang shared the stock's rally early this month after describing demand for the new Blackwell chips as insane. Even amid the stock's dramatic outperformance, T. Low, the price portfolio manager Tony Wang, told me investors still continuously underestimate Nvidia's growth potential. It sees exceptional demand for AI, making it definitely possible that the chip giant crosses that 4 trillion threshold first. The incoming weeks, earnings from fellow Magnificent Seven companies will give investors better insight into Nvidia's market dominance. Meta, Amazon, Alphabet, and Microsoft, which account for more than 40% of the chip makers' revenue, have all pledged to continue investing in AI. Last quarter, spending by Meta, Alphabet, and Microsoft totaled more than $40 billion, while Amazon said spending in the second half of the year will likely surpass the $30 billion spent during the first half.
BofA analyst Vivek Arya, who views Nvidia as a generational opportunity, cites capital expenditure commentary from top hyperscaler among the region that he sees Nvidia strengthening its position. Arya lifted his price target on the chip makers to $190 last week, implying a rally of nearly 40% from Friday's closing price. Arya and his team also cited Taiwan Semiconductor robust demand outlook as a positive TSMC. The Arya and his team also cited Taiwan Semiconductor's robust demand outlook as positive. TSMC, a top supplier for Nvidia and other giants, including the Apple, triggered the sector-wide rally after posting a more than the 15% jump in the net income for the third quarter and forecasting for a full year revenue growth of nearly 30%. Safe to say, the big tech's third quarter numbers will be a crucial test for Nvidia and keep the stock momentum in the short term. Any disappointment in the AI spending plans could lead to volatility for Nvidia and the broader chips market. But if that happens, the sell-off may not last long. Nile's investment management for our founder Nile recently told me Yahoo Finance opening bid podcast he remains bullish on Nvidia long-term prospects. You've got the several more years of the AI investment before you hit saturation or a more maturing AI landscape, Nile said. You'll see Nvidia's revenue doubles over the next several years, and I think you will see the stock double over the next several years. Nvidia shares have rallied 21% so far this month, bringing its gain to the 179% year to date. The scene. Okay. I read this article, Nvidia to win the race to $4.4 trillion market cap, experts say. Thank you for your time and see you next time. SK Hynix leads AI memory market with record Q3 earnings. Chipmakers expect HBM to account for 40% of the total sales next year. SK Hynix announced record high quality earnings in the third quarter of this year, Thursday, fueling expectation that it could overtake Samsung Electronics as Korea's most profitable chipmaker by the end of this year. Revenue reached to 17.257 trillion won, $12.72 billion during the July to September period, up 93.8% year-on-year, while operating profit stood at 7.03 trillion won, seeing to the black from a 1.79 trillion won operating loss a year ago. Operating profit margin climbed to an impressive 40%. The digit figure represents SK Hynix's highest ever quarterly performance. Revenues rose to a new peak after reaching 16.42 trillion won in the second quarter. Operating profit significantly surpassed the 6.47 trillion won achieved in the third quarter of 2018, when the semiconductor industry was in a lucrative off-cycle. Earlier this month, rival chip maker Samsung Electronics projected an operating profit of 9.1 trillion won for the third quarter, with the market estimating the earnings from its chip business would range from 4 trillion won to 4.4 trillion won.
given SK Hynix's strong earnings in recent quarters and a positive expectation for fourth quarter. The company is poised to overtake Samsung Electronics and become Korea's most profitable chip maker when yearly results are tallied at the end of the year. SK Hynix growth is driven by the rise in demand for high bandwidth memory HBM chips, which are the essential for powering artificial intelligence AI processors. The strong demand for AI memory continued among data center customers, prompting the company to expand the sales of high-value products like HBM and eSSD, which contributed to the achieving the highest revenue in history. The company said it during a conference call. Sales of HBM increased by 70% from the second quarter and 30% from the third quarter of last year, driving the company's overall sales growth, SK Hynix added. SK Hynix noted that the HBM comprised 30% of the total sales in the third quarter and is projected to increase to 40% in the fourth quarter. The company said the shipping volume of fifth generation HBM 3E chips has surpassed that of fourth generation HBM3 during the third quarter. Deliveries of advanced 12-layer HBM3E chips are expected to proceed as scheduled in the fourth quarter. The 12-layer products are anticipated to make up more than half of the total HBM3E chips produced in the first half of the next year. The 12-layer HBM3 chip is recognized as the most advanced HBM semiconductor currently in mass production. In September, SK Hynix became the first in the industry to mass produce these chips. The company provided an optimism outlook for its HBM business next year, noting that it has already finalized discussions on delivery terms and pricing with customers. Chief Financial Officer Kim Woo-hyun said demand is expected to exceed initial projection due to the client's investment in AI processors. We expect upside movement in demand and a downside movement in supply. Meaning demand will remain outpacing the supply next year, Kim said. This is why we believe the customers are looking to establish long-term supply contract for HBM. SK Hynix acknowledged that while it is investing to meet next year's demand and is facing limitations in manufacturing capacity, so to address this, the company plans to reduce legacy manufacturing processes, such as those for the HBM3 and the DDR4 chips, and expand its capacity for producing HBME chips. I read today that SK Hynix leads AI memory market with a record Q3 earnings. Thank you for your time and see you next time.
자, ASML sees a slow chip recovery extending well into 2025. The ASML cut its outlook for next year, triggering a 16% decline in its share price on Tuesday in Amsterdam, the biggest since the June 12, 1998. The ASML Holdings Chief Executive Officer Christopher Fouquet said that he expected the chip market's long-awaited recovery will extend well in 2025. Following this point in the third quarter earnings that sparked a broad sell-off across the semiconductor industry. Slow recovery in demand has led to a customer cautiousness and some push-outs in their investments. Fouquet said In a call with investors on Wednesday, October 16, that read ASML to slash its earnings guidance, even as Phuket said the artificial intelligence AI boom, energy transition, and electrification continue to provide a strong upside. Phuket, who took the helm at ASML in April, is facing one of the most tumultuous periods in company's history. The Dutch company, which makes the world's most advanced chip-making machines, has shed over 16 billion euros, 65 billion dollars in value since it reported bookings that were less than half of what analysts expect on Tuesday. ASML is aware weather for a wider chip industry, and Phuket's comments were a clear indicator that AI boom is not a panacea for the sector's youth. It has a monopoly on making the machines that help companies such as Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company and Samsung Electronics produce the most advanced chips that power everything from Apple smartphones to Nvidia's AI accelerators. Today, without AI, the market would be very sad if you ask me. Fuka said, the recovery is not what I think everyone has wished for. The Fuka said the demand recovery in the automotive, mobile, and PC markets has been particularly slow, even while AI-related server demand is robust. The Dutch company will slow its short-term investment plans to match the market, he added. They pushed back. Some orders that were scheduled for 2025 have been pushed back to 2026. Chief Financial Officer Roger Dayson said on the call, ASML cut its outlook for next year, triggering a 16% decline in its share price on Tuesday in Amsterdam, the biggest since June 12, 1998. So on Wednesday, it fell 5.1% and surrenders its place as Europe's most valuable technology company to the software from SAP. So it has lost about a quarter of its value since the Google took over. The weak results were amplified by the company mistakenly releasing its financial result a day earlier than scheduled. Phuket apologized for the premature publication of the release, which was expected on Wednesday. This was unfortunate, he said, attributing the issue to a technical error. ASML is facing pressure for multiple directions. While demand for the chips that power AI data centers remained strong, the customers, including Intel and Samsung, are struggling. Intel, faced with shrinking sales and mounting losses, the last month delayed new factory plans in Germany and Poland. Samsung issued an apology to investors this month for disappointing results after delays let competitors dominate the market for high-bandwidth memory chips used in AI. Companies producing automotive and industrial chips, which often use ASML's less advanced machinery, are also in a prolonged slump because their clients have too much inventory. The Apple shares slipped 1.5% on Wednesday, Analysts have said preliminary data on pre-orders and lead times for the iPhone 16 suggest tepid demand. China sales. Meanwhile, the US and its alliance are latching up pressure on China, ASMR's biggest market for the last 5 quarters, as Washington seeks to limit access to cutting-edge chip technology. China accounted for 2.8 billion euros of sales in the third quarter, nearly half of ASMR's total. Dyson said the company expects China sales to account for about 20% of total revenue next year, adding that this level is the normal percentage for the market. Analysts on the call repeatedly pressed management for details on ASMR's outlook for China, which Dyson said is expected to account for about 20% of total revenue next year. And the 20% is what we consider to be a normal percentage of our business for China. Focus said that we would assume that is a number that also on a go-forward basis we believed would be realistic for China, of course subject to anything related to export controls. Last month, the Netherlands published a new export control rules that made ASML apply for export licenses in Hague instead of the US for some of its older machines. That came after Bloomberg News reported that the Dutch government would limit some of ASML's ability to repair and maintain its semiconductor equipment in China. We read the newspaper and we read continuous speculation of things that might happen, Dyson said. And as a result of that, we have decided to take a more cautious view on China, he added. Bloomberg. Okay, today I read this news, this articles. ASML CEO sees a slow chips recovery expanding where it's into 2025. Thank you for your time and see you next time. Arizona Fab. TSMC Arizona Fab delivers 4% more yield than comparable facilities in Taiwan. TSMC will soon have a fully operational fab in Arizona that delivers the same quality and efficiency as its Taiwan factories. The TSMC US President Rick Cassidy said in an October 23 webinar that its Phoenix and Arizona fab achieved 4% better yield than comparable manufacturing sites in Taiwan. According to Bloomberg, this is a key metric for TSMC, especially as it typically reserved its most advanced and efficient facilities for its home country of Taiwan. It's also a win for Washington, especially as TSMC, one of the largest CHIPS Act awardees, is slated to receive $6.6 billion in direct funding from the federal government. The company faced several challenges in founding its original facilities, including issues with its labor practice and differences in work culture. This has led to delays in inevitably pushing back the first factory planned full operational schedule by 1 year and delaying the second fab start date to 2027 at best, with the possibility of 2029. Nevertheless, it seems that the company has faced its challenges, and especially as it was able to attain a production yields on par with the Taiwan fabs early last month. This achievement was followed by news that Apple A16 Bionic SoCs are now produced in Arizona, and the HM
and that AMD will soon start making its AI HPC chips at the same location. Some analysts predict that TSMC's overseas manufacturing capabilities will likely only comprise of about 10% of its global production capacity, but this is already an achievement for the US, especially as it works to return semiconductor manufacturing back within its borders as a means to protect its chip supply chain from regional instability. Bloomberg said that the company has no comment yet about what Cassidy said regarding its yield, although the TSMC CEO C.C. Wei said that the first original fab has already begun engineering wafer production of 4nm chips, and the results were highly satisfactory with a very good yield. This could encourage the Taiwanese chipmakers to expand each Arizona facility, especially given that it only has one manufacturing facility with one more planned as a site that can accommodate at least 6 fabs. This will make the company a prime recipient for another award if the White House were to ever implement the second CHIPS Act investment program to further expand America's semiconductor manufacturing capacity. Okay, I read this article. TSMC Arizona Fab delivers 4% more yield than comparable facilities in Taiwan. Thank you for your time and see you next time.